What up? It's the Dirty Shirt Podcast.
Welcome back. It's episode 6.
I'm Braden.
And I'm Nolan.
And we're all
like a dirty shirt!
Oh yeah.
Welcome back, everyone.
Yeah, we're here. We're live.
Hope
it's
your
episode
shirts
6.
are still dirty.
Yes, my shirt is dirty already.
Take it off.
We're outside, so I've already sweat through my shirt just from being outside in the summer. I come from a long line of sweaty people.
Mm-hmm.
So
This is long distance episode. We're brought to you way up. If you're watching,
yeah,
then you'll see that we're on top of a rock pile. If you're listening, you won't notice any difference. Where
Hopefully.
are we, Braden?
We are at camp. This is the camp that I've been working at for many years. We are in the woods here. We have a what we call the outdoor chapel, which is down there where the camera is, and up here on these rocks is what we call the Indian rocks. They are called that because we found many Native American things around camp before this was named in probably the 60s. The rocks were called this, would be my guess. And
you said a lot of the land around here is confirmed like Native American territory at one point.
Yeah, yep. And it's pretty cool because, we found, the Indian arrowheads and things like that. One of the other things that's really cool is some of the trees here have been marked as like with Indian trail markings or Native American trail markings that are.
You a fan of Cleveland baseball, perchance?
Oops. No.
Washington football?
Yeah. No, I'm not. But what's cool is that they, the way that they mark the trails, or they've done it in the past, is by when the tree is first growing, they'll bind the trunk in a certain way so that it grows with a 90-degree angle in it. So, like, I'm looking at a branch of a really big tree right now that has one of those bindings done to it. There's also, I'm going to put some footage of it in the edit so that you guys can see one of the ones where I know specifically it is on camp. I know of like 2 or 3 for sure, and then there's some other ones that I know are around here somewhere. Yeah. But it's pretty cool. It's an interesting way that they did it back then, and it'll be there as long as the tree's alive, which could be for 100+ years. So I mean, obviously it's been there for a long time already, since there haven't been Native Americans in this area for a long time.
Yeah, like lightning strikes a tree just one time, it like grows back funky, and suddenly you're on the wrong trail.
Yeah.
You've gone 5 miles the wrong way before you've discovered.
Yeah. But, yeah, just going back to, this is episode 6. We've taken a week off. The last 2 episodes were super long.
Yeah. We blessed you with 2-hour-long episodes twice, so that'll make up for a missing week, and likely moving forward, we'll probably shorten the episodes just for our own sanity, at least over the summer when we're both so busy.
Definitely. And for yours as well. I like a good 2-hour-long podcast, but sometimes you don't have 2 hours to spend in a week. So, yeah. In review of last episode, however, we have some comments that we'd like to talk about.
Yeah. We had so many new segments. We were trying out
Yeah.
segments for the first time. So we had 7 or 8?
Yeah.
And we zoomed through them, kind of. I mean, in 2 hours.
Right.
And we wanted feedback on different segments. We wanted what you liked, what you didn't like. And thankfully, we had the extra week, and we could get some feedback. So we'll just review a couple of those things now. Ideas for new segments, whatnot.
Yeah. So, first of all, we got a comment on the last episode that I thought was very genius. This was a comment on YouTube by our good friend Caleb, who said, Mary, over under, kiss, Kiss Mary Jim Henson and Jim Henson Britlit. So we used the segment format to talk about the segments. An ingenious move and a stroke of comedic genius from Caleb, as he so often has.
And if we may go on a tangent here for a second, I have lots of thoughts on last 2 weeks ago, I guess.
Yeah.
Kiss Mary Jim Henson. Speaking of tangent too,
Yes, go on.
I got into a long conversation with our close friend Asher.
Yes.
And who is more mathematically minded than the two of us. And
absolutely
was upset that we had described a tangent as being the circle and not the line in our analogy. He's like, the conversation is the circle and the line shoots off of that like a rock thrown from a sling.
Right.
And I was like, yeah. And I understand mathematically he's totally correct.
Sure, yep.
But I think the way that we use it, and much the way literature works, I like to imagine a conversation as a line because it has a destination.
Mm-hmm.
It's like I want to accomplish something through a conversation, whether it's a new insight or whatever. And I don't want to talk in circles.
Ooh.
Right? And so a tangent will take you off of your train of thought and bring you right back to the spot where you once were, and then you continue that conversation.
Yeah.
So that's where I'm coming from. But yeah, love the feedback.
Yeah, I think both of those arguments are valid. I think that I think Asher's definition is the correct one when it comes to mathematics, as you stated. But when it comes to English, there's so much. It's more Hispanic.
Yeah. Hispanic?
Yeah. Not everything's black and white.
Right.
Somewhere in between.
It's got a little Native American.
Yeah. My paper.
They own one or two casinos.
Okay. Another tangent. A quick circle there.
Right, yeah.
Yeah. So I loved that comment from oh wait, did you want to talk about the actual tangent you wanted to talk about instead of talking about tangents?
Yes, exactly.
Kiss
Crazy.
Mary Jim Henson.
Last episode on Kiss Mary Jim Henson, we did the classic conversation of breakfast foods of waffles, pancakes, and French toast. Braden and I kind of unanimously decided that we're not huge fans of French toast.
Yep.
It takes a lot of ingredients and time and more energy than it's really worth. I had married kind of the more reliable and less maintenance option of pancakes and was keeping waffles on the side. And large part of that had to do with my work relationship with waffles because at my job at Neighbor's Cafe, we sell a decent bit of waffles. Not 2 days after we have this conversation, the waffle maker that we had at the coffee shop just completely breaks. Like, it was flipping breakers in the kitchen. Like, electricity was on and off. It was a full mess. Like, was being super finicky and then just fully died on me, like, mid-waffle.
Yeah.
And, yeah, so I was like, wow. Bit of a drama queen, that waffle.
I didn't know this. You told me about it earlier today, and that is hilarious.
Yeah.
And it's like the perfect thing to happen after we had that whole conversation, and it just fully proves your point.
Right. Thinking back on it, waffles, she is so toxic.
Yeah.
Like, she was like, oh, you're just going to kiss me, keep me on the side? I'm going to be the main character. I'm going to ruin your life. And kind of did in a little bit. And then we had to buy a new waffle maker, but we got a double, so twins. I'll let you know how that goes.
Yeah.
I think brand new, it's going to treat us nice. We got some other equipment to hopefully keep it clean, happy, working well. But unfortunately for my personal consumption, I'm still just going to kiss. Hopefully Waffle doesn't listen to this episode.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see how it turns out, because I mean, this new one might sway you in the other direction.
That's true. If she's a honey and she just works so smoothly.
Right.
Wow, yeah.
Yeah. we'll see.
Let's
We'll
say
find
I'm
out.
engaged to pancakes right now,
Okay.
so we'll keep our options.
That's a crazy.
I'm
thing
mostly
to say.
decided though.
That's a crazy thing to say as a married man.
You keep bringing it into the real life. I'm talking about breakfast. If
Yeah.
bacon and eggs were on here, I'd be I'd be a sausage man.
That's a whole other conversation.
What do you? It's breakfast.
Yeah. So, yes, great comment from Caleb there. We love it. So, an interesting thing about that, however, was he Jim Hensoned Britlit, which we got a comment on the Spotify episode, the same episode the only episode we did Britlit, that they really liked Britlit. So, I think that's going to be something important to note that, people are going to have differing opinions on our segments here
Yeah.
going on.
She also had an idea for a new segment.
Yes.
Do you want to hit us with that?
I will, and it's a great idea. I love it. Is guess that obscure sound. So I think this will be. I would love to do this. I think we'll do this on an episode where we're a little bit more not sitting on rocks, like 10 feet away from each other. 15. I guess. Would you say it's like 15, 20 feet?
Yeah, 20 feet.
About yeah.
We're socially distanced.
Yeah.
We
in which
could
case-
we could do it right now. You could make a sound. I'll try and guess what it is.
I was thinking more. I like find a sound on YouTube or something
Right, yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. But it would also add another element of like,
of fun.
yeah, because obviously the sounds would probably be pretty trash.
All right,
What do you
let's
think?
try it. Let's give a quick workshop of the segment right now.
Sure.
Welcome to Guess That Obscure Sound.
Oh,
Ba, 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 ba.
that sounded like the Joe Rogan.
Yeah. Well, it's
Joe
supposed to be
Rogan
Jeopardy.
experience.
Oh yeah, that's true. Well, anywho, okay. Guess That Obscure Sound. Here is the first sound. Close your eyes, please. I don't want you to figure out how I'm making this sound.
Fart.
Yeah, that was it.
Nice.
All right, one more.
Should I close my eyes again?
Yeah, close your eyes again, please.
Rattling your keys as you're trying to get it into the ignition.
Close. But no, that's not what I was intending.
Ah.
You want it once more?
Yeah, hit me again.
Okay.
The static electricity on the TV.
Another great guess. But no, that's not what I was going for. What I was going for was bacon sizzling in a frying pan.
Oh, okay. Yeah. You a bacon man or a sausage man?
I'm a bacon man.
Okay.
Wait, I don't know, actually. Hold on. Let me think. I'm a bacon man.
That was a little bit of a long pause.
Yeah.
Josie's going to be pissed.
Yeah, so another area of feedback we got from the last episode is when we were doing trivia, I was taking too long to think on things.
Yeah.
Which, this is a podcast, long-form content, but
Welcome back to the segment, Dramatic Pause. Today we will be pausing for 86 seconds.
here we go. Close enough.
Yeah. That's an easy way to fill content.
Yeah, it is.
We can get a 2-hour episode in. Like, we could go take a nap. And
Yeah. That was nowhere near close to 86 seconds. I think what I'll do is speed that up and then say this was 86 seconds and lie
that
to
wouldn't be a
everyone.
bad segment being like, all right, guess what 15 seconds is?
Yeah, that's actually that's a great idea. I
Yeah.
would love to do that. I feel like I have a really good internal clock.
That could be an over-under. Like, is Braden on average, like, within a second?
Yeah.
Or over.
Yes.
You know, over under a second average.
Definitely.
Yeah. Do it like 3 or 4 times.
Yeah. Another segment idea that we had given to us was making a team with inanimate objects. So, specifically, the comment said defensive positions for baseball. We were thinking that, and the example given was like lamp, pitcher, couch, catcher.
That's a good one.
Yeah, rocking chair, shortstop, or third base, probably more likely.
Yeah, I think you got something. You got to get something with more of a cannon
Absolutely.
at third base.
Yeah, I would honestly say rocking chair, first base.
Yeah, can kind of cushion it a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Lean back on the bag.
Yeah.
Mm.
I
I saw they added a second first base, like a safety bag or something.
Yes, I don't think that's not in the MLB. It's definitely not in the MLB.
Okay.
But that's definitely something that I wouldn't be surprised that they're toying with in the minor leagues. In my slow pitch church league softball league, we play with the second base at first base.
Well, MLB has second base.
That's true.
You ever been to second base?
Moving on.
In softball.
Yeah, I've been there.
Yeah. Kiss Mary Jim Henson. First base, second base,
Third base.
third base.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
could do that.
All right. Keep going.
Mary first base, kiss third, kill second. I like playing first base, like as a fielder,
Sure.
so I'm gonna marry it. And I love the other thing for me. That's fun because when I hit a home run, you only have to touch first base. You don't have to round the whole bases. So first base, getting just a first for me is like hitting a home run.
Yeah.
But third base, that's like hitting a triple, which would be awesome.
True.
Anyhow, moving on.
Was there any other comments you had?
Well, just to finish the thought on that one, making a team. So we were also thinking we could do that as like basketball positions with inanimate objects, which to me feels like it would take a little bit less thought. It's kind of more on the shape of everything. It depends like how we're going. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
you would just put whatever the biggest thing is at center, and I guess you could say the same thing for like football positions though. You just put the biggest things on the line, and
Right.
then you have your. I think that's one of the reasons why baseball positions is a little different because they have a lot more vibe associated with each of them. But I feel like you have to know baseball a little bit better to.
Yeah.
Know it.
I feel like there's like an IQ and like a handling for basketball,
Sure.
but
That's true.
for like bobsled, who's in the front, who's pushing.
Yeah.
For curling, who's throwing like the big stone, who's sweeping the big stone.
Yeah. Something else as a quick tangent about this area is that the bugs have been insane here this year, and that's no fun. So we're going to be debugging ourselves quite often
Yeah.
this episode. So that's all the comments that we were planning to address today. I enjoyed each one of those very much. So before we get into the segment that we have for us today, I think that we should address not a comment but an email that was emailed to the email. I'm very excited to get into this one. We have both read this, but I'd like you to read again for everybody.
Mail time.
Mail
Mail
time.
time. Dearest fellas, loved the recent episode. Getting hip was great, and over-under was fun. At first, I didn't care much for the spelling bee segment. I thought to myself, man, am I really just listening to two dudes spelling words right now? Well, holy frickin' airball. Imagine my surprise when I turned from audio to video to see Braden getting absolutely punked as he spells every word horrendously wrong.
Well, okay.
This is top-tier content, boys. Well done. In light of this, I have a proposal. I propose a competition of sorts to see who can out-bamboozle their co-host, whether it be telling them incorrect trivia answers, having them buy into a bogus story, getting them with a D's nuts joke. What is that?
These nuts?
Yeah, what is that? Or any other sort of shenanigans. The boozler will procure a point for each boozlement. If one of you is sniffed out and caught in an attempt to booze your co-host, said lad will have a point deducted from their score. With a running scoreboard on the screen, we, the audience, will be constantly reminded of who is currently on top. I'm sure y'all will have good ideas to expand or improve this. Feel free to also decline, but I think it'd be fun and might create some funny moments. That's all for now. Cheers.
Yeah. Great email. I love the verbiage. Boozler.
Yeah.
Boozlement.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things that we talked about, I forget if we talked about it on the actual episode or if that was in afterwards, that one of the difficult parts about that is we want a level of trust between the two of us. Like, if we're like, we don't want it to become a point on the podcast where one of us goes, "Did you see that thing that happened in the news recently?" The other one goes, "What?"
Yeah, in Segondia.
Yeah. And so I think that segment is used best sparingly, or the bamboo, or the, what was it called?
The boozlement.
Yes, the boozlement segment should be used sparingly. But I do love the idea of like a counter for sure.
Yeah.
I'm pretty certain that I'm gonna be losing in a landslide in that most of the time, just because I have never felt like the best boozler. But I mean, we'll see how it goes for sure.
Yeah. Also, you can expect for Braden to, as he said, get his lick back.
Yeah.
Where he hopes to boozle me at some point.
Yeah.
And I will create him a Jalen Hurts edit as per our agreement.
Right.
I do think in that sense it would be funny to just be like, I am up right now because I got you.
Yeah.
And then you got to get me.
Right.
And then we kind of go back and forth. That's one way we could do it.
Right. Yeah, I like that. I think that instead of having like a full counter and stuff, that way also we would have a bit more trust between the two of us. Like,
unless we do like an episode, the boozlement episode, and it's like that one, it's like you get points for sniffing out what's fake, but then like we can also find news stories that are like true and like different facts that are true, and you're like, that's false. It's like, no, that's true. You lose a point. You don't trust me.
Yeah, that's literally the Two Truths and a Lie podcast episode.
Yeah.
That's good. I like that. That's fun. And it could even be like about yourself, like things that have happened in your past and whatnot.
Right.
Yeah. Or, I mean, yeah.
Because then you could sneak it in. That whole episode just be like lies you got away with. Bing.
Yeah.
And then like times you boozled your co-host. Bing. Like different points scoring.
Yep.
I don't know.
That's good. That's a good idea. Yes. I also like it being like, okay, I'm getting you back at some point. That way I don't have to worry about getting boozled for at least until I get you back.
Right.
And then
unless I double dip.
Right. Or we could just have an agreement that once somebody has been boozled, they are on the boozle watch until they get boozled. Then it's back to like even. Then anybody can get boozled.
First to boozle.
Right. Then boozled, get boozled, and then it's back to like one person is in the clear for a bit.
Yeah.
I think either way would be interesting.
Right. Were you making up that stuff about the trees?
No.
I'm kidding. I believe that.
I was not making up the stuff about the trees. These shorts keep on getting shorter and shorter as I'm adjusting myself on this.
Yeah, we're back to the crotch pod, baby.
We're crotch podding all the way.
Yeah.
On this episode.
Yeah.
I recently got these shorts and they're awesome. They work great. Like in day-to-day use, they're like I think a good length, like standing up and and in general areas and of places of my life. And they are also swim trunks.
Heyo.
Yeah, pretty cool, huh?
Yeah, I had a pair of shorts that I wore that were swim trunks, and
Yeah.
they were great because they didn't have that lining in it, which is the worst part of swim trunks.
Yep.
And so and they looked fancy, so I would wear them to nice events.
Yeah.
And then it was very fun to just right after pool
Hop
party,
in the pool.
boom.
And we may or may not be going to a pool party later. Leaning pretty heavily in the May column of May,
Right.
may not.
And that's why the episode's short.
Maybe. Yeah, and so I figured 2 for 1. Boom.
Shout out.
Swim trunks. Bare bottoms. Sponsor us. That's what they're called.
Some bootyless chaps.
Yeah.
Oh.
They do have fabric over my bottom. My bottom is not bare right now.
Speaking of our sponsors,
Yeah.
last episode was heavily sponsored by Neighbors Cafe.
Yeah.
Probably a little bit too much.
Mm.
But I will say they did also pay us to say that they are now starting soft serve ice cream.
Boom!
So as you're seeing this, it will be Monday.
Yes.
This coming Saturday, July 12th, there will be free soft serve ice cream as a kickoff launch for the summer hours and for soft serve ice cream.
Yes, come meet the Dirty Shirt podcast there. I'm planning to probably be there. I'm helping a friend move that day. So if we get done over there in time, I will absolutely be at Neighbors for some free soft serve. I might bring all of them as well with me.
It is from noon until 9.
Yeah.
So longer hours.
Yes.
So you have no excuse not to come.
Absolutely. So, yeah. Hit us up. We'll see you there, hopefully.
Yeah. We'll sign your dirty shirt.
Bring a dirty shirt and we'll sign it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's funny. And while we're on the topic of wardrobe, I'm wearing my America Crocs today. It is July 5th. Yesterday was July 4th. So I'm doing this in solidarity with America.
You did this in episode 4.
What?
Where you were like, hey, these shorts are really riding up on me. Don't look at the video.
Right, yeah.
Please don't give us more views.
Right.
Just describing your fit in
Yeah.
vivid detail.
Well, I was both of those things were topical.
Yeah. That's fair. I'm wearing a blue shirt.
Yeah.
America.
Yeah. There you
Yeah.
go. Blue and white.
We're non-Native Americans.
Correct.
I mean, we're natural-born citizens.
I mean,
if that's
I was
what
born
you mean,
here
but
for sure. Am I a Native American?
no.
Okay.
I mean, you definitely immigrated from Europe somewhere, right?
Yeah. But I was born here. Me personally.
Yeah, but we're talking about people that were indigenous to this land.
You're right. We're talking about heritage.
Yeah.
Me personally, though, I've always been in America.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
if you
I
put
don't
that on
know-
an application for Native American, you're not getting any financial aid, you know?
Yeah. I was actually just talking about the heritage of my name recently with some friends from camp this past week. There's this website called, what's it called? Like Name of Names website or something, or
Yeah.
where your name comes from.com.
Right. While you're thinking about that, I got a text from this man saying, hey, we should talk about where our last names come from. From you.
Oh yeah.
And I was like,
Oh wait, I just Yeah.
like, he literally bleeped his last name
Right.
in the one episode. He's
Yeah.
like, I mean, I don't want people to know who we are quite yet or whatever.
yeah.
And now he's like, let's talk about it.
I'm not going to say my last name,
Yeah.
but I do think it's from Germany, and it means well, yes, I have German. I'm of German descent. A lot of my family is Pennsylvania Dutch type people, and so that would be people who've come over from Deutschland, which is the German way of saying Germany, and So yeah, that's interesting. What are you?
I think my dad's side is German and my mom's side is Polish.
Ah,
But also a gripe that I have with like countries, like why do we Americanize it? Like obviously, Deutschland,
Right.
sure, maybe that's not exactly in our alphabet,
yeah,
but we could call it Dutchland.
yeah, for sure.
Why do we call it Germany? And where did that come from?
No
Like
idea.
we're just making things up.
We absolutely are.
Yeah. I know that like Turkey or like had like a big thing where they're like we actually want to be spelled how we're spelled
Oh,
in
yeah.
Turkish,
Yeah.
like with an e at the end.
Mhm.
Turkey. I don't know exactly how to say it, but
I definitely don't.
I think that makes sense. And like when
I
you're
would
learning
agree.
a new language or something, wouldn't it be nice to kind of universally have everything sound similar? So it's like, oh, if someone's talking about Deutschland and it's called Dutchland in our like language, that would make a lot more sense.
Absolutely. Yeah, I took 3 years of German, and the answer to that question was definitely told to me at one point, but I have no idea. Don't remember even a little bit.
This is awesome. This is so interesting. So I was in Turkey for a little while, and we went on this like this tour guide type thing in Istanbul, and the tour guide was like, "Oh, do you guys know like how like Turkey the animal got its name?"
No.
And we're like, "No, we do not." He's like, "Well," he's like, and I'm totally gonna butcher this. I should have looked this up. It is awesome. You need to look it up. But from people from like England at that time, they were getting turkeys, the animal, from Turkey, right? From the region of Turkey,
Yeah.
and they were getting turkey, the animal, from the Americas, which they
Wait, Turkey, the region, was getting them from America.
was getting them from the Americas. But at that time, if you know some stuff about geography, people thought when you were crossing the Atlantic Ocean, you were going from where you were to India,
Yes.
right? So, in Turkish, the word for turkey, the animal, is Hindi. That's also what they call India. So it's a complete misconception.
Yeah.
So Turkey, the animal, got its name from people from Turkey getting the animal from, or I guess Hindi was the country. They thought they were getting that animal from that country. So they're like, we're going to name this animal after India because this is the place we get it from, which is incorrect.
Mm-hmm.
And then the people from like the Isles from Britain, they were getting turkeys from Turkey, and that's why they named it a turkey. But they actually come from the Americas. So
they really should have been called Americans.
yeah. You calling me a turkey?
Yeah.
Nice.
That's awesome.
Wow.
I had no idea any of that.
Yeah.
I like that a lot.
Yeah. I've looked it up multiple times because every time I explain it, I can't even believe it myself.
Right. Yeah. That's like something else. I recently found out I've been a fan of crocodiles for a long time. I used to watch like Crocodile Hunter, like growing up on Animal Planet, and like there was a show of like some American people too about crocodiles that I would watch on Animal Planet. And I recently found out that I've been saying that alligators are the ones with the skinnier triangle-like chompers, and crocodiles are the ones that have the more round, but apparently it's the other way around.
Fascinating.
I recently found out like this week that I've been saying it wrong this whole time
Yeah.
for like probably 10 plus years. Or
All
I've had
that-
it wrong in my head.
All of that wildcrats, and for what?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Something came and landed on your shoulder for a second and immediately went away.
Yeah, I saw that.
So, yeah, that's something.
Oh, another amazing thing
Okay.
that I talk about. If we keep talking, we can save the segment for next episode.
True. Well, no, we have another segment for the same segment.
Oh, true.
Right.
Well, we could do two at once. I was thinking we would do.
Well,
who knows?
2 this episode and 2 next episode.
Sure.
Okay.
That's true. We have plenty.
Right.
I actually went to Hershey Park
Oh,
last week.
yeah.
Last Thursday.
How was it?
So it was fantastic.
Really?
Let's say we came from a huge heat wave, and then we were expecting a lot of rain, and we kind of did get some rain mixed in. So everybody was like, "I'm not trying to like pass out at Hershey Park." So we got to ride every single roller coaster. We rode Fahrenheit, which is usually
Oh,
a 2-hour line.
you're
3
saying-
times.
You're saying there was like nobody there.
There was nobody there.
Wow.
It was glorious.
Yeah.
Like, we got front seat multiple times, like, without even trying or waiting longer. Like, we got Great Bear, like, twice.
Wow.
Like, we were cruising.
That's actually so
It was
fun.
fantastic. And we hit the water park at one point, like, did some of the slides. Like, I have never had a better day. It was funny because, like, Fast Pass, you can pay, like, $100 to cut the line.
Yep.
And, like, everyone that had Fast Pass, it was just, like, laughable. Because, like, they were getting to the same exact spot we were, and we didn't pay anything more. And these were free tickets from
Boom.
going to a Hershey Bears game.
Boom.
So at one point it rained, right? Pretty heavy.
Right.
And it closed a lot of the roller coasters for like an hour or two. So you know what we did?
What did you do?
We went to Zoo America,
Zoo
baby.
America, baby!
Woo!
Let's go.
Squaw!
I love Zoo America.
Yeah.
What was that you just did there?
Eagle.
Oh, right. Okay, go on.
But basically the premise is it's like things that you would see native to America. So Native American animals.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
I do know what you mean.
And so they had all
At
that
least I
there.
think I do.
But they don't have like zebras or lions or anything that's not native to the Americas. But they have like everything else.
Yeah.
So it was
Did you get to see
really,
a
really
bear?
cool. Yeah, we saw a bear. And
I'm a big fan of bears.
yeah, we have not posted anything on our Instagram yet. I'm thinking the first thing
Keep going. I'm going to have to get that.
Okay. I'm thinking the first thing that I want to post on the Instagram will be our trip out west. So you can kind of connect with what we had talked about in episode 4 and kind of our origins, our beginnings, and you can kind of picture some of those moments. And then I'm totally going to be posting some of these pictures from our Hershey Park trip and specifically Zoo America. There's like sizes of bears, and I'm standing up next to it. We got super close to the black bear on the glass. Like, it was just chilling, swimming. You can measure up like your wingspan next to an eagle. It was pretty stupendous. So yeah, we'll be posting some of that content. Oh, there's also kind of a silly in there of an elk. If you know, you know.
Right.
So, but yeah, you'll see more of that content on our Instagram. Go follow the Dirty Shirts Pod on Instagram, and thank goodness Braden is back. So
Here I am.
yeah,
So
it's more
this-
about the dialogue than the monologue, you know, because you can't have the dialogue without the monologue. You know who that is?
No.
Matthew McConaughey.
Oh.
When he
Actually,
joined
I may have-
Instagram, like, it was so cringy. He still is, but
Right.
yeah.
That'll bring us into our final segment of the day, I think.
Yeah.
Which is, we talked a bit about it last week, but the bracket. Oh, wait, sorry. The
Bracket. I think I also had called it tournament play
Oh, sure.
at some
Yeah,
point.
that's good.
We can call it whatever we want.
Yeah. Today, it's the bracket. Tomorrow, tournament play.
It could be, the cereal bowl
Oh, my goodness.
for this one specifically.
This one specifically is called the Cereal Bowl.
And it'll take us a couple weeks, so that's fine.
Yep. So, to begin with today, to just explain the concept here, basically what we've done is, I'll let you describe it since this is mostly your baby.
Yeah. I just thought it would be funny to discuss, different things, inanimate or not, or real or not, that we could put in a bracket head to head, and we could have kind of like a verbal debate and then come to a consensus on what should move forward in the bracket, and then we kind of have a winner at the end. So it's pretty simple. I've had an idea for a long time that I love the mascots that the Americas have on their cereal boxes. And I was like, which one would win in a fight?
Yeah. So we have 8 American cereal mascots lined up, each having a different seed, right? 8 of them?
16.
16 of them. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So, we have them seated here. And for the first episode, we have 1 versus 16.
Yeah.
1 versus 16. And to begin with, that is, we're going to do 2 matchups this episode since it is the round of 8. Or
16.
yeah.
Sweet 16.
Yes. It's the Sweet 16. So, yes. First, we have number 1 seeded Buzz from Honey Nut Cheerios
Yeah.
versus number 16 seeded Count Chocula from cereal of the same name. Right?
Yeah. It's Count Chocula. He's got his own cereal.
Yeah.
And I would like to also say this will have nothing to do with our opinion of that cereal.
Yes.
The only way that the cereal could sway us is like brand power. Like if we feel like they kind of have, a say over like the judges, or like if like they're going to be tipping the scales in some way,
Right.
maybe that could come into play.
Yeah.
Because like Cheerios is a huge brand. So maybe that would have to do something in play, but we're not talking about the taste of the cereal or anything like that.
Absolutely.
Strictly the character.
Yep. So we got Buzz, who, for those of you who don't know, is a bee. He has the magical honey that does magical things. Or I guess you could do a breakdown. I mean, in the commercials, it does magical things.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if we'll use the moves too much.
Sure.
Or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, when I think of Buzz, he's pretty jolly.
Yes.
And to be fair, most of these characters are. So at some point, they're going to have to try to best their opponent one way or the other. And so we're kind of going to have to look at them in a different light.
Mm-hmm. Is this to the death?
I mean, I would say like MMA,
Okay.
or just like who's going to win.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
We don't have to get graphic.
Sure.
Is this to the Jim Henson?
Oh, sorry. I should have asked it like that.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, like, advantages of a bee is a stinger. I
Yep.
do believe Buzz has a stinger.
He does. Yep.
And, I mean, he's got that big honeycomb, which is sticky, but it is also like a huge hammer.
Yes.
I've seen the hammer in Super Smash Bros., and that thing is quite powerful.
It is. It's one of my favorite things to bust out, no matter what. Like, are you talking about the item hammer? Or
Yeah.
Okay, yes. That is awesome. Also, if you play as King DDD, he has his own hammer.
He's got a great hammer.
Yeah, that he uses a lot. Same with Kirby, has a hammer. Who else has a hammer on the Super Smash Bros. Roster?
Probably Bowser.
Who? Oh, Bowser. No, he doesn't.
Yeah. How do you know?
I'm pretty sure. I've played the game a lot.
I have not played Smash too much.
Yeah. So, yes. That is big time for Buzz.
Yeah,
It
like
sways,
he kind
it
of
sways
has
into his favor
a
a lot.
weapon. And I mean, like,
And he can use that honey for who knows what.
yeah. I mean, yeah, slows down the opponent with the stickiness,
Yep.
and then whacks him upside the head with that big wooden.
Kapow.
Yeah. I mean, he's a little bit smaller. He's undersized, but like
sure.
the character still feels like he's like what, 2 feet tall, maybe.
Yeah.
That's
He's
a big bee.
absolutely very agile.
If I saw a 2-foot bee, oh Lord, have you seen like those killer bees like in like just like the Amazon and stuff.
Yeah.
Those are frightening enough. And I'm not saying he's got that same genetics, but 2 feet of bee.
Yeah.
That's a lot of bee.
That is a lot of bee. Let's get into Count Chocula.
Sure.
I don't feel like I know much about Count Chocula.
No.
I definitely have not seen near as many Count Chocula commercials. I feel like Buzz has a huge leg up as far as marketing.
Yeah.
His marketing department.
You really start running out of quality characters once you get down to 16.
Yeah.
Like, probably, 12 through 16 is, like, not the big hitters.
Yeah.
So,
There's a reason why he's seated 16th in this bracket.
yeah. But I think if we go just based off of his, like, powers, obviously he's kind of, like, based off of Dracula.
Yeah. Which is huge. I mean, like, if Buzz didn't have the it factor of, like, being one of the most iconic cereal mascots out there, he would have a hard time getting past Count Chocula. Like, it's low-key grounds for a upset, in my opinion.
It really could be.
Because Count Chocula, like, vampires are crazy.
Yeah. The other thing to take into account is he's not full vampire.
Right.
He's chocolate infused somehow.
Okay.
And I don't know if this should deter us or not, but he is seasonal. This was typically just released around like October, Halloween, like into like the fall.
Okay.
And
I didn't know that.
Same with like Monster Berry or something.
Yep.
There was like a Frankenstein
I remember that.
berry flavor, and there's also like a ghost one too. So like a couple different cereals that this manufacturer makes. So I don't know. I mean, like, the other thing is Buzz thrives in the day, in the light, as far as, as a...
Half vampire, half chocolate thing would go?
Yeah.
Absolutely not thriving in the day.
Like chocolate melting in the sun, vampires disintegrating in the sun.
Yeah. Not good. I think that another important thing to know is that vampires, one of the ways to kill them is by wooden stakes.
Ah.
What does Buzz have?
Wow.
Yeah, that wooden mallet.
Wow. That might be the saving grace.
I think so. I think that's what's going to give Buzz the edge here. All he has to do is sharpen that thing a little bit.
Yeah.
Poosh! Dungeon
Right.
rings.
Count Chocula, I believe, would probably be more agile. You
Really?
know, like, disappear, reappear, that kind of
Oh,
stuff.
sure.
You know,
Yep.
they flap the cape, boom, they're on the balcony now.
Yeah.
Part of its hindrance is it's going to have a huge advantage in the evening.
Yeah.
Maybe try to catch Buzz off guard at night
Mm-hmm.
when Buzz is, like, sleeping. Because I don't know, bees, they're not active in the evening.
No, there's a cool study. I think it's with bees, or it might have been with flies, where they have them flying around and it's like lit up, and then the light turns off and they all just drop immediately. Like as soon as
Wow.
it gets dark, they're gone.
So I think a big thing about this is, like, it's at nighttime.
Yep.
Count Chocula winning definitely has the edge. I don't know, maybe not winning, but has an edge.
Even with the wooden stake,
Yeah.
maybe has an edge
In the daytime, Buzz definitely has the edge.
by a lot,
Yeah.
by much more of a margin than Chocula maybe has
Right.
in the night.
So I think the big thing is, if you're just saying, like, hey, they're going at it, like, no rules, it's not a cage match during the day or during the night. I think the big question would be, can Count Chocula avoid Buzz the Bee and seek him out during the nighttime, or can he avoid him during the daytime?
Yeah. I don't know.
And I just don't think so.
I
Because
agree.
when you see them, in their spooky houses, they're like sleeping in a coffin.
Yeah.
I feel like they got to sleep a ton too.
Mm-hmm. Here's I think a way that we're going to determine the winner of each one. Who's winning greater than 50% of the time? I think with the margins that we've explained, I think it's got to be Buzz.
Yeah, I agree. Buzz the Bee from Cheerios defeats Count Chocula. and moves on
in the Sweet 16.
to round 2, the Elite 8.
Yeah. All right. Great.
Let us know if you agree or disagree.
Yeah.
Again, this has nothing to do with cereal.
Yes.
Should we move on to the next matchup?
Yes. Next, number 2 seeded Snap, Crackle, and Pop from Rice Krispies versus number 15 Fred Flintstone and Barney Rubble.
Right.
Wow.
I mean, this is like
Off the bat, can I say my
gang violence.
Yeah. off the bat, can I say what I'm thinking before we get any
Yeah.
argument?
Yeah.
Upset.
You think?
I'm thinking upset. We got 2 Fred Flintstone and Barney Rubble, 2 guys who, like, if you've watched the show at all, I mean, they're strong. Very strong.
Right.
They are a really good team. And just based on I'm a fan of the Flintstones. I grew up watching them. I'm a big Boomerang guy. 206 was what channel number that Boomerang was on my TV growing up, and they would always play like the old style cartoons. Flintstones were on there a lot. Fred Flintstone is one heck of a guy. He can bowl very well. I'm getting into arguments now, but
Yeah.
I think off the rip, Fred Flintstone and Barney Rubble have it for me.
Sure.
I don't feel like I know much about Snap, Crackle, and Pop.
Yeah. Let's talk about it.
Sure.
Also, the seedings are based on sales
Okay.
of the cereal.
Sure.
So I just kind of not based on like who I think would win, but just to randomly seed them, I did it based on sales.
Okay.
Also, this might be because like if the 2 seed would win, they'd play the 1 seed right away. So I don't think this is the 2 seed.
Oh,
But
is
it doesn't
not?
matter. This is
Sorry.
just the next matchup down.
Yes,
Whoever wins this is going to play Buzz.
The seedings are not written on here,
Right.
so
Yeah. Just a reference.
okay, that's good to know. Because
So
I was going to say that's
I think these are both
crazy.
mid-tier teams. I think this is like 8 and 9 or something.
That would make more sense.
7,
Because I
8.
was going to say Fruity Pebbles would be crazy to be that far down.
Yeah. Yeah.
In my opinion. Also, this
So-
is Fruity Pebbles versus Rice Krispies. Those are 2 very similar cereals.
Right. Exactly. I mean, right off the rip,
Again, this isn't about cereals, but
yeah.
just an anecdote.
Right off the rip, you do have to say 3v2.
Yes.
So that's a clear advantage. They got numbers.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they got team, they got the chemistry.
Are Snap, Crackle, and Pop brothers?
I'd assume so. They don't look related. They
No.
all got different color hair. Not that they can't dye their hair. I just don't imagine that happening in the cereal world.
Sure. Or that brothers have different hair colors.
It's possible, but like, I think it's literally like black, like
Oh.
blonde and brown.
Okay, sure.
Like the most different. I mean, not that they couldn't be half brothers. We don't know. But yeah, I do think they do have some chemistry. And also, speaking of science, if you, so like you have, out in physics class, right? This is another huge tangent. Asher's gonna correct me if I'm wrong, but anyways, so you have, like the speed something is going, right?
Yep.
If you take the derivative of that, right? How much speed are you increasing by? That would be called acceleration,
Sure.
right? Now, if you take acceleration to the next level, the derivative of acceleration, so you just keep ramping it up,
Yep.
is called jerk,
Okay.
right?
Sure.
Ayo. I'm not trying to get you. And then if you take the derivative of jerk, it's snap. The derivative of snap is crackle, and the derivative of crackle is pop.
All right.
No lie.
This is starting to feel like a Gaslight segment.
If this is a gaslight segment, then the real gaslight was my physics teacher gaslighting me. All right?
Yeah.
I believe this 100%.
Okay.
I will look it up afterwards, but
right.
I will leave it in no matter what.
Yeah.
That's
and
very
actually, That's
cool.
the true gaslight. I was your physics teacher back then, and it was all leading up to this
No,
moment.
no, Mr.
Yeah, the ultimate gaslight. I did it. It was me the whole time.
Wow.
And
You
no
even let
reason.
me win the cardboard boat race.
Yes,
oh
I
my
did.
goodness, my team. That was crazy.
Yep.
Literally easiest class. He let us
Okay.
use our notes for every test, and then we won the physics boat race at the
Mhm.
end of the year project, and it gave us like 105% on the final project.
Oh my gosh.
And so I think I ended with like a 100 in physics or something.
That's insane.
Which not because I'm super smart, but I genuinely thought this class was pretty easy.
Anywho,
Yeah.
Snap,
It was
Crackle,
just
Pop.
honors. It wasn't like AP or nothing.
Well, that's a very interesting thing I didn't know. That gives Snap, Crackle, and Pop up a bit in my
Right.
opinion of them.
I think that's really cool.
Yeah.
And that makes me think they're more mischievous than they let on. Like, they're above speed, acceleration, jerk than
Yeah.
it's Snap, Crackle, Pop.
Here's what I'm thinking right now that you've told me that. Snap, Crackle, and Pop are Bugs Bunny-like people where they exist kind of outside of our realm. They're like jesters where they like have these special powers where Bugs Bunny can kind of bend space and time as he gets up to his to his shenanigans. Are we feeling that way about Snap, Crackle, and Pop?
Maybe. I mean, part of me, maybe they're just trying to throw us off, but they're also dressed like the Pillsbury Doughboy.
True.
Like, those fits,
Yeah.
like, they're very floppy, like Baker's fits.
Mm-hmm. So if we're thinking that there's not any secret power towards Snap, Crackle,
Right.
and Pop.
I mean, they're adding some secret power to that cereal
Sure.
that makes it Snap, Crackle, and Pop.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah.
I feel like, if anything, if you had to put them in a category, they'd be like explosive experts.
Okay.
They're adding something to that. You know what I mean?
I see what you're saying.
They're like one step below Pop Rocks.
Oh. Yeah, you're right.
You know?
Yes. Pop Rocks are definitely in that explosion category.
Yeah.
I think so. We got two fully grown cavemen, super strong adults versus three kids with some sort of
With names based on physics.
with names based on physics and at least some amount of magic power.
Yeah. I mean, and to give the cavemen credit, I don't think they're dumb. You know, watching
No.
the show,
Absolutely not.
I mean, they're just
Limited by their time.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, very progressive by their time.
Yes, but still limited by their time.
Right. I mean, they had dinosaurs as pets.
Yep,
That is huge.
that's huge. They had dinosaurs as pets. They had dinosaurs. They had a dinosaur as a garbage disposal.
Right.
Vacuum. They used dinosaurs for many things. So they had some sort of power.
Right. They have some dominion over the land.
For sure.
For sure.
Yeah. I mean,
But they're also still running their cars around.
true. So where are we at here? I'm leaning Barney and Fred.
Yeah. I think I'm leaning that way too,
Okay.
but it's more of just a vibe thing.
Sure.
I mean, I think we talked up Snap, Crackle, and Pop just to give them a run
Right.
for it. But at the end of the day, I'm like, they're three like basically little kid bakers
Mm-hmm.
versus two like big, pretty ahead of their time cavemen.
Yeah. So, greater than 50% of the time, we're taking Fred and Barney.
We are.
Okay. So Fred and Barney move on to fight Buzz in the second round,
Yeah. So
or in the Elite Eight.
This was an upset, not a
Right.
crazy upset,
Mhm.
because they were a similar seed, I
Yeah.
believe.
Yeah. So, yeah, come back to see that in a future episode, that matchup, and that's where we're going to leave it today. So, thank you for listening. We will be back next week with episode 7, and yeah, we'll sign it off.
Yeah. Put those dirty shirts in the washing machine.
Do your laundry. See ya. Okay, here we go. Yo, it's the Dirty Shirt Podcast.
Welcome back. It's episode 6.
I'm Braden.
And I'm Nolan.
Let's get into it.
Oh no! And we're
Blooper reel.
Let's get into it. Love you, Muppets.